everybody. Preston Flat, back again. Today I'm going to teach you this technique to find the place of non-becoming. A very elusive, hard to find place that is described by the Thai Buddhist sage master Ajahn Chah as a place between, for example, in a house. You have a lower floor and an upper floor. People know about the lower floor, they know about the upper floor, but they don't know about the place between the floors. And indeed, how in the flippin' heck, even if a person knows that they want to stay there, how in the world can they stay there? Because unless they can fly or hover, are they really going to be able to be suspended between the two floors? Well, that's just used as an example. But I'm going to teach you this technique where you take the house that has the lower floor and the upper floor, and let me do it this way. It has the lower floor and the upper floor, and you simply turn it this way. And now it is in the place where you are sitting, and you are sitting and abiding right in the midst of both floors because you've simply turned it this way. And this is the actual technique called gathering two or more and knowing what is in the midst of them. It's a technique of setting up a Christian yoke or like a mystical cross type of thing where there's a right side, there's a left side, but there's a very straight and narrow place or way between the two, but how in the world is someone going to be able to hang out in that place? How in the world can they possibly surf that? The answer to that is in this technique of gathering two or more and resting in the middle. So here's just one example of how to do it. You have a sitting bone on one side. If you lean to that side, you'll feel that sitting bone more. And you'll know that you're too much that way. Same with this one. If you lean toward that way, you'll feel that sitting bone more. So you don't want the sitting bone that represents, for example, the upper floor or the lower floor. You don't want the sitting bone that represents the other floor. But you want to actually be able to surf this place, this straight and narrow place that you can now abide in because you can feel both sitting bones evenly. You have this actual feedback system that the very instant that you start to lean, you will know that you've gone out into the world that way toward one of the floors and away from hovering or staying in this middle place. And so this is a very super simple technique. It's a good way to start to practice. And the way it works is the world around you is always presenting itself in new ways, right? I mean, they say that everything's impermanent because it's always changing, right? But it's also presenting itself anew in the place where you sit. And each unique invitation is, each unique presentation is an invitation to go out and to turn away, to bail on this better part, this one good thing which is right here, and instead to go out into the world toiling and spinning and chasing after what? After what would be found on the ground floor or on the ceiling. So constantly there's the attraction, there's the influence of these presenting sense impressions as they arrive in your place of practice. And normally you would not realize probably when you would not abide in this place and instead when you would go out, because you just wouldn't have set up this feedback mechanism, this Christian yoke or scale, if you will. But because you have set up this scale, the very instant that you start to go out, you'll feel it. With wisdom, you know exactly what direction you've departed, what direction you've missed the mark, and because you know that, you know exactly how much to bring it back until you feel both sitting bones evenly, and feel until you feel that you are once again spot on in the place that not going outward doesn't miss the mark. So this is a place that when the presentations of the world present themselves, simply the practice of abiding in this place is the practice of not clinging. When you practice this way, it becomes a practice of not clinging because, for example, if I'm too attached to one side, I simply know it's just as clear as can be that all I have to do is release that. And I release it to the point in which, having turned the house on the side, I absolutely can feel that I'm right in the center place, the center way, the way that you can hang out in. So you've heard that scripture, lovest thou me more than these? You've heard that, right? Well, in these mystical traditions in Christianity, in the teaching of Ramana Maharshi and other traditions, me is used to indicate the place of the heart, the place where the treasure is, the place that where the kingdom of God is within you. So you have this place, which is the place that you abide in. And then with each new presentation, it's like it asks the question anew. Lovest thou this place? Lovest thou me more than these? And if you can learn to simply abide in this place and love this with all your heart, might, mind, and strength, pretty soon this kind of wisdom you'll know at the soonest arrival of these new, unique presentations. You'll be able to sense the very instant that you start to go out, and you can simply bring it back. And so what that does is it allows you to live a life that's spot on. That instead of being like in a pinball machine, you know, when you shoot the ball bearing up and it hits the bumper and just gets bumped all over the place and beat up, that's what your life has been like, perhaps. But just imagine, if you will, if there's a middle place, a place that isn't too much to one side or too much to the other, a place that doesn't hit the ceiling or the floor, but can just abide in this place of refuge and rest. Well, it's elusive unless you know some way to set up, for example, this kind of a scale. So the easiest one in the beginning, I think, is to use the sitting bones, because you're already used to sitting. I mean, it's so super easy and it's comfortable. And then just the very instant that you start to feel one sitting bone more than the other, you simply bring it back. But you don't use force to bring it back, you use release. So you release attachment to this, release attachment to this. So this is just one step. You could use the sitting bones, you could use like K27 or spleen 21 or any points that you want. You can also use the fingers, segments of the hands, as if they were a rosary or prayer beads, and set up symmetrical ones like this, and then have this be part of just one. Well, it's the idea of where two, not only where two are gathered, but where two or more are gathered. And then you can add this into the equation where you start with symmetrical hand positions, and then you simply change one side. And even though the external is apparently changed as you go through these different hand positions, through it all the training is that you surf and hold to and keep to this middle way, this place that turns not to the right or to the left, that goes no more out, but in the past you didn't have a way to find it. You didn't have a way to know when you were departing from it. But now you do. This is one way to do it. So I found it's been really helpful to me to practice in this way in all kinds of situations and all kinds of circumstances. And then what you can do is turn the house back again. This is wild. Because if you once you find the center place of refuge, you can then turn it this way. And you're so established in that middle place that when you do things such as observing the breath, when I observe the breath, it's often on this kind of a dimension, like I know what labored breathing is. Sometimes I'll breathe in such a way that I know that if I force my breath that way, it enters into laboredness. And then when I return it, it enters into ease or refuge. And then if I breathe too much that way, it also enters into laboredness. But similarly, there's a place of refuge between too high and too low. And you can turn it this way, restore the house, and then you put the breath in this place. You put the mind on this place that's not too high, not too low. It may seem like it would be a different place, but it's not. It's the same place, and you literally have practice in abiding there. Why? Because you practice this other way. You simply turn the house first this way. You learned to trust. You learned to trust in this place with all your heart, and to lean not unto your own understanding. And that's why the Christian yoke is so important. This is not different. Well, I don't know. It depends on what brand of Christianity you're into. Of course, it's absolutely not Christian according to some brands, but whatever. But I think it's really one and the same of what Jesus taught, or at least it can be used in a similar way. So what I'm saying is this middle place is a place of non-becoming, as Ajahn Chah said, because why? It's when the presentations of life arrive in your place, it's the clinging and attachment to those that gives rise to birth and to death. But there's a place between grabbing, there's a place between being attracted to something, and that's called attraction, or being averse to something, that's called aversion. You see what I'm saying? If you have attraction to something, then you're not in the middle way. And now I'm back in the middle way again. Or if you are averse to something, if you have aversion, you're also being buffeted around in life, and you're not hanging out in this center middle way. So I'm just saying that as a training exercise, consider doing this. I call it surfing without a surfboard. I've done other videos about it that explain it in more detail, and I'm actually going to go into going through different Bible verses and Buddhist verses and stuff, and just from place to place tell you how it may or may not it's not, everything's not going to be this, but I think this will help you a lot. So anyhow, this is it. And then when you breathe, right? So you don't want to breathe in a labored way. You don't want to have the breath go too much this way or too much that way. But you can just feel that there's a place that is just right, that if you could just be all arrived in that place, your breath isn't going to be labored. And that's the place where you put your mind. And that place, as you breathe, still the world is going to present itself to you. All kinds of ingredients and sense impressions, new sights, new sounds, new feelings, everything. All of them inviting a departure from this place of non-becoming. But when you practice in this way, you have what's called wisdom, because you literally know when you've departed this way or this way, and you know exactly where that place of rest is. And that, my friends, equates to the house that has a lower floor that people know how to hang out in, the house that has the upper floor that people know how to hang out in, but they don't know how to hang out in the middle place. And so what we've done today is taken that house and simply turned it this way so you can hang out in the middle place during all kinds of life experiences, presentations, changes, and indeed through not having attachment and not having aversion. Therefore you're in this place that not having attachment or aversion is a place of non-becoming, because attachment and aversion is what gives life to birth and death. So it's a pretty groovy thing. And so that's all I have for today, but our new program is we're going to try to produce a video very regularly. I mean, lots of videos, because I just realized I haven't produced beans on video in the video department. Hey, if you want to like and subscribe, would you please do it? And also, if you want to check out my website, it's called PrestonFlat.com. There's a spelling right there. See that artwork? That funny looking guy? I do that. I design this, and I have it on shirts too. So if you want to buy a weird looking shirt and wear it around, then please do. Much love. Thank you.